on Oxford Weekly News. Why is there such a projected steep decline in international students enrolling in ACE, Miami's English language program? But first, how are Oxford police adjusting to their body cams since they were issued in January? Welcome to Oxford Weekly News. I'm Margot Austin. The Oxford Police Community Review and Relations Commission met on Thursday, April 19th to hear an update from Oxford's Chief of Police about officers' usage of body-worn cameras. The Oxford Police Department started wearing body cameras in January. As Isabelle Hanson shows us, officers are still adjusting to the new cameras.
Oxford Police Chief John Jones spoke to commission members about officers' experiences with body-worn cameras. Chief Jones told me the cameras are an effective tool and improve report writing. But first, officers must remember to turn on their cameras. An Oxford police officer's body-worn camera recorded this footage at an incident on February 25th. The double-jointed male pulled his arms above his head and punched the police officer. Chief John Jones says this footage was helpful when reviewing the details of the report, but the transition for police officers to use these new cameras is a work in progress.
Policing has a lot of muscle memory built in and a lot of training, and so getting into that habit of turning your body cam on before you do all the other things in your car and get out of the car is becoming more natural for officers.
Officers on patrol are required to wear body cameras. Data presented at the commission meeting shows a decrease of almost 50% in failed recordings from February to March. So far, 9 recording failures in April. Patrick Mead, chairperson of the Oxford Police Community Review and Relations Commission, says it's a learning curve to make turning on body-worn cameras a routine.
I think if I'm a police officer and I've never had a camera before and I get out and I think this might be a stressful situation, turning on the camera is not the first thing in my mind. The first thing in my mind is, what's the situation? Is anybody in danger?
Mead's other concern with body-worn cameras.
I think body cameras have a big issue with privacy. When to turn them on and when not to have them on. Like if an officer goes to a residence and somebody called them for just assistance, that person may not want to be being recorded when they answer the door.
Police are not required to inform people that their body camera is on except when entering a private home. The resident can then request for the camera to be turned off. If the situation allows, police can agree. Chief John Jones says the Oxford Police Department has had no privacy issues with body-worn cameras. The department's body camera policy meets the state of Ohio's standards.
It's about transparency, but it also improves, I think, how the officer responds. And then hopefully, in most cases, it improves how the public responds if they know that they're being videotaped.
Mead says there was no resistance from his commission in regards to Oxford police officers wearing body cameras.
I just think government bodies and government workers should be as open and transparent as possible. And body-worn cameras are a good step in that direction.
The Oxford Police Community Review and Relations Commission did not have any issues with the body-worn camera update from Chief Jones at the April 19th meeting. In the future, Mead says the commission does not plan to focus their time and discussions on body-worn cameras unless any problems come up. Back to you, Margot.
On March 14th, a female student reported that she was sexually assaulted in a dorm in Dorsey Hall by a known male suspect. Days after, on March 18th, another student reported a sexual assault in an apartment building near campus. According to the MUPD crime log, in the past 2 months, there have been 7 sexual assaults reported to Miami University Police. 5 of these occurred in residence halls. For international students who struggle with English, classes at Miami can be frustrating. The semester-long ACE program is meant to help international students develop the English language skills they need to succeed. However, the enrollment in Miami's ACE program is projected to face a nearly 35% decrease in the fall. ACE Director Carol Olison says the reason for the drop has to do with students who struggle with English, preferring to go to schools with more relaxed language requirements.
The fact that fewer students are coming here means there are fewer students to benefit, so we want to find what are other ways we can tap into helping the broader international community.
O. Lawson says even though the size of ACE is shrinking, the program won't cut down on resources to support students in need. As our nation mourns the loss of Barbara Bush, Miami University looks back at Bush's unique connection to the Oxford community. Barbara Bush was born to Miami mergers Pauline and Marvin Pierce. Her father was a 4-star athlete and captain of the 1915 football team. Her mother was involved in the community musically, participating in both orchestra and choir. They both graduated in 1916.
Her parents, I don't know if they met here. They certainly got to know each other well here. I think they got married 2 years after they graduated. So, and the fact that her family continues to have ties here and generations come to school here, especially when they don't live around here now, I think that says a lot about how they feel about Miami.
Today, the Pierce impact carries on in Harrison Hall, where Scott Pierce donated a leadership room on behalf of his parents. Miami University may soon be able to add a health and wellness achievement to its name. The university qualified as one of the healthiest employers in the greater Cincinnati area. Miami, which ranked in the top 25, was commended for its involvement in promoting wellness in the workplace. The winners will be announced at an awards ceremony held on May 1st at Xavier University. Coming up on Oxford Weekly News, how do Oxford residents remember the Princess Theatre following its closing in 2014? Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Do you remember being able to walk uptown to see a movie in Oxford? Many Oxford community members remember the old Princess Movie Theater located uptown. After several years of vacancy, plans to bring entertainment back to Oxford are being discussed.
Faculty and Oxford community members are unable to go to a movie theater within walking distance. However, this hasn't always been the case. Movie theaters in Oxford have a long history, starting in 1950 with the debut of the Talawanda Theater. In 1984, the movie theater operators had changed, and the new owners renamed it the Princess Theater.
And then we would go there all the time, because like growing up in a college town, being like underage, when you're like 13 or 14, you have nothing to do. You walk around uptown, so you end up going to see a movie. And I remember we would always try to sneak into the R-rated movies.
Oxford coffee shop owner Robert Thurston also remembers his experiences at the Princess Theater.
They showed a lot of things that I did go to see and that I enjoyed a lot, and it was just really nice to have it 5 minutes away from home.
Some memories will never be forgotten. Current film studies majors at Miami were not at Oxford to experience the Princess Theater. However, they are hopeful that a movie theater will come back.
No matter if you make films or you're an avid film watcher, I think watching films is a great pastime. And so, especially on college, like on a college campus where there's not really much to do, having a movie theater readily available for students is so important.
Plans to bring the Princess Theater back to Oxford are in process. According to Oxford City Council, building owners of the Princess Theater are willing to lease the building at a discounted rate, but cost estimations could be up to $800,000 to build.
I don't know, I just think that as a student and a community member, I'm in like a unique position of like I can see both sides of what the community wants to do, what the students want. But I just think that the theater would bring value to Oxford and value the students and the community members.
When walking uptown in Oxford, community members and visitors may be frustrated with all the empty storefronts, but city leaders say there's no reason to be alarmed. Of the 20 empty storefronts located throughout Oxford, only 5 are available for rent or lease. All other buildings are currently under contract. According to Economic Development Director Alan Kiger, new businesses planning to move in include a donut shop, a smoothie store, and a tapas and pizza restaurant.
I will say historically, I've been in this job now 10 years, and every year but one, we've had more businesses open than close. So we've seen a growth upward. In fact, the true, we're at about 96% occupancy around town.
In the meantime, Kiger's team has plans to partner with Enjoy Oxford for an art campaign to decorate the windows of the empty storefronts. Oxford will soon be more accessible thanks to a $2.6 million federal grant given to the Butler County Regional Transit Authority. This money will be used to fund a new bus station on a currently empty lot on Chestnut Street. The facility will act as a hub for people traveling to and within Oxford. Executive Director of BCRTA, Matthew Dutkovics, says the competitive bus grant was awarded to only 4 other cities statewide, making it a big win for Oxford.
It's kind of exciting, you know, only $13 million spread out across Ohio, and we actually got some of that. And having some infrastructure in town will help us serve everybody a little bit better, kind of solidify our place so that people are used to seeing us there.
The $2.6 million grant only covers part of the $9 million price tag the facility is expected to cost. In other transportation news, the California-based bike-sharing company called Spin Bikes has finally been approved for a 6-month trial by the Oxford City Council. A limited number of bikes will be available during this trial period, which will begin late May or early June. Coming up on Oxford Weekly News, what popular national radio show is coming to Oxford? Stay tuned to find out. On April 20th, the popular radio show and podcast Science Friday with Ira Flato will come to Miami. Tickets to be a part of the studio audience sold out fast in February. Science Friday is weekly science and technology-based talk shows with nearly 2 million listeners per episode. Portions of the April 20th recording will be released in upcoming episodes. Community members will now be able to enjoy an ice-cold beer while celebrating the merger of the Oxford and Butler County United Way programs. City Council approved the sale of craft beer at the Butler County United Way 2018-2019 Community Campaign Kickoff. United Way is a worldwide nonprofit charity organization. The kickoff event will be held on June 26th at the Oxford Memorial Park. That's all for this week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Margot Austin. You can watch us online or on our YouTube channel. Also, connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Search Oxford Weekly News.